Welcome to English Easy Hub. Join us as we ignite the flames of your English learning journey together.
Please subscribe to watch and embark on your English learning journey. Don't miss out on the exciting content. In this comprehensive dialogue, Simon seeks advice from his professor on how to rapidly enhance his spoken English skills. Throughout the conversation, the professor provides a wealth of practical and insightful strategies, emphasizing the importance of regular practice, immersion, vocabulary expansion, pronunciation, and overcoming nervousness. The dialogue explores various methods to effectively practice speaking, expand vocabulary, improve pronunciation, receive constructive feedback, and stay motivated.
Hi, Professor. I want to improve my spoken English skills quickly. Do you have any tips or strategies that can help me achieve this goal?
Hello, Simon. Absolutely. I have several strategies that can help you. To start with, one of the most effective ways to improve your spoken English is through regular practice. This might sound obvious, but consistent speaking practice is crucial.
Regular practice, got it. But sometimes I don't have anyone to practice with. What can I do in that case?
That's a great question. When you don't have a speaking partner, you can still practice by speaking to yourself. Narrate your day, describe what you're doing, or summarize what you just read or watched. Additionally, there are language exchange apps where you can find conversation partners.
Speaking to myself sounds a bit odd, but I'll give it a try. What about language exchange apps? Do you have any recommendations?
Yes, apps like Tandem, HelloTalk, and Speaky are excellent platforms to find language exchange partners. You can practice speaking with native speakers who are learning your language. It's a mutually beneficial setup.
I've heard of those apps. I'll check them out. What about vocabulary? Sometimes I struggle to find the right words when speaking. How can I expand my vocabulary effectively?
Expanding your vocabulary is crucial for fluency. One effective method is to learn words in context. Instead of memorizing lists of words, read articles, books, or watch movies in English. Take note of new words and phrases and try to use them in your own sentences. Also, make use of spaced repetition systems, SRS, like Anki to reinforce your memory.
Learning words in context and using SRS, that makes sense. How important is pronunciation in improving my spoken English?
Pronunciation is very important. Even if you have a vast vocabulary and perfect grammar, poor pronunciation can hinder communication. Listen carefully to native speakers and try to mimic their pronunciation. Use resources like YouTube channels dedicated to teaching pronunciation and apps like Forvo where you can hear words pronounced by native speakers.
I often struggle with certain sounds that don't exist in my native language. Any specific tips for that?
Yes, focusing on phonetic drills can be very helpful. Identify the sounds that are challenging for you and practice them repeatedly. Tongue twisters are also a fun way to practice difficult sounds. Additionally, recording yourself and comparing it to native speakers can help you spot and correct mistakes.
I'll definitely try those tips. Sometimes I feel nervous and self-conscious when I try to speak English. How can I overcome this?
Feeling nervous is natural, Simon. One way to overcome this is through gradual exposure. Start by speaking in low-pressure situations. For instance, practice with a friend who is also learning or join a language club. The more you speak, the more comfortable you will become. Also, remind yourself that making mistakes is part of the learning process.
That's reassuring to hear. Is there anything else I can do to speed up my progress?
Yes, immersion is another powerful technique. Surround yourself with English as much as possible. Change the language settings on your phone and computer to English, listen to English podcasts, watch English TV shows and movies, and try to think in English. The more you immerse yourself, the faster you will improve.
Immersion sounds intense, but I can see how it would help. Are there any specific types of content that are better for learning spoken English?
Great question. Consuming content that includes everyday conversations, like TV shows, movies, and interviews, is particularly useful. Podcasts and YouTube channels where people discuss a variety of topics in a natural manner are also excellent. Additionally, engaging with interactive content, like language learning apps that offer speaking exercises, can be beneficial.
That makes sense. Should I focus more on understanding different accents or should I stick to one type of English, like American or British?
Initially, it might be helpful to focus on one accent to build a solid foundation. This can make it easier to recognize patterns in pronunciation and intonation. However, as you become more confident, exposing yourself to different accents can be very beneficial. It will enhance your listening skills and help you understand English in a more global context.
I'll start with one accent then. What about grammar? Sometimes I'm so focused on getting my grammar right that I hesitate and lose fluency. How can I balance accuracy and fluency?
This is a common challenge. While good grammar is important, communication is the primary goal. When speaking, prioritize fluency over perfect grammar. Over time, as you become more comfortable speaking, your grammar will naturally improve. It's also helpful to learn common phrases and sentence structures that can boost your confidence in everyday conversations.
Prioritizing fluency sounds like a good approach. What role does feedback play in improving spoken English? How can I get constructive feedback?
Feedback is crucial. It helps you identify areas for improvement and track your progress. You can get feedback by joining English speaking clubs, taking classes with a tutor, or using language exchange partners. Online platforms like italki also offer opportunities to have one-on-one sessions with native speakers who can provide personalized feedback.
I'll look into those options. Do you have any advice on maintaining motivation? Sometimes I find it hard to stay motivated when I don't see immediate progress.
Staying motivated can be challenging, but setting specific, achievable goals can help. Celebrate small victories and track your progress. Engage with content that interests you and make learning fun. For example, if you enjoy cooking, watch cooking shows in English. Also, remind yourself of your reasons for learning English and the benefits it will bring.
That's very helpful, Professor. I'll start setting more specific goals and finding content that I enjoy. Thank you so much for your valuable advice.
You're welcome, Simon. Remember, the key to mastering spoken English is consistency and a positive mindset. Keep practicing, seek feedback, and stay curious. You'll see remarkable improvement over time.
You mentioned setting specific goals earlier. Can you give me an example of what a good goal might look like?
Certainly. A good goal is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. For instance, you could set a goal to practice speaking for at least 30 minutes every day for the next month. Another example could be to learn and use 10 new vocabulary words each week in your conversations.
Those examples are clear and actionable. I'll start setting similar goals for myself. What if I encounter a plateau in my learning? How should I deal with it?
Plateaus are a natural part of the learning process. When you encounter a plateau, try to vary your learning methods. If you've been focusing heavily on listening and speaking, switch to reading and writing, or vice versa. Sometimes, taking a short break and then coming back with a fresh perspective can also help. Additionally, seeking new challenges, like joining a debate club or participating in public speaking, can push you beyond the plateau.
That's good to know. I'll keep an eye out for plateaus and switch things up when needed. Are there any cultural aspects I should be aware of that could help me sound more natural when speaking English?
Understanding cultural nuances is very important for sounding natural and fluent. Pay attention to how native speakers use humor, sarcasm, and idiomatic expressions. Being aware of cultural references and social norms can also help. For example, small talk is common in many English-speaking cultures, and knowing how to engage in it can make your conversation smoother.
I hadn't thought much about cultural nuances. How can I learn more about them?
Engaging with authentic materials, such as TV shows, movies, and books, can give you insights into cultural nuances. Additionally, interacting with native speakers and asking questions about their culture can be very enlightening. Participating in cultural exchange programs or attending local events in English-speaking communities can also provide valuable exposure.
That's a great idea. I'll try to incorporate more cultural learning into my practice. One last question: how important is it to think in English, and how can I train myself to do that?
Thinking in English is a crucial step toward fluency. It reduces the time it takes to formulate sentences and helps you become more comfortable with the language. To train yourself to think in English, start by naming objects around you in English, then move on to forming simple sentences about your daily activities. Gradually increase the complexity of your thoughts in English. Keeping a journal in English and writing down your thoughts can also be a useful exercise.
Thinking in English seems challenging, but I understand its importance. I'll start practicing that as well. Thank you, Professor, for all your guidance. I feel much more prepared and motivated to improve my spoken English.
You're very welcome, Simon. Remember, the journey to fluency is a gradual process. Stay patient, keep practicing, and enjoy the learning experience. Best of luck, and don't hesitate to reach out if you need further assistance.
The professor advises Simon to practice speaking regularly, use language exchange apps, and learn vocabulary in context. Emphasis is placed on improving pronunciation through phonetic drills and recordings, overcoming nervousness with gradual exposure, engaging with immersive content, and setting specific goals are key strategies. The importance of understanding cultural nuances, thinking in English, and seeking constructive feedback is highlighted. Simon is encouraged to stay persistent and patient, celebrating small victories and maintaining a positive mindset throughout his language learning journey.
Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, like, comment, and share to keep the English learning journey alive.